what did I do wrong, and how am I going to fix this? How am I going to get better and improve myself from this loss? And that's what's happened, man. We're just going back to all the little things, like just back to basics.
Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. All right, Jamie. August 9th, UFC 293. Man, you fought in Melbourne, you fought in Perth. Now you finally get to fight in Sydney, man. How does it feel?
Oh man, it's a long time coming. I'm looking forward to it very much. So it's been like 5 years since I fought in Sydney. So 2019 was my last fight.
Yeah, and this time around, it's at the highest level. You got a solid opponent, a veteran. Will this one be a little bit more special than the other fights, do you think, because it's in Sydney?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Well, like like you said, the level that this fight will be at. Um, I think because of how much the sport's grown as well in our country, it's just gonna sort of magnify it even more. So yeah, can't wait.
And the opponent is John Makdessi. He has 19 fights in the UFC. Pretty insane career so far. You know, what I mean, still going for him. What type of fighter do you see?
Yeah, John's a very crafty man, very crafty veteran of the game. So yeah, he's like obviously got that wealth of experience, and I think I'll have like a little bit of youth on my side, but yeah, it'll be a tricky fight, man. I know he brings it as well. So I'm expecting I'm expecting his sort of in and out bouncy style. I think he'll be just trying to like score a lot of points, but that's where you got to be careful with him too. You can't like be rushing in because he'll catch you and make you pay. So yeah, just gonna be an interesting fight that I think I'm just gonna have to take my time, and not force anything. That's the main thing that's in my head.
Yeah, it seems like John Makdessi, he likes to take his time in the cage. And when you look at his recent performances, his recent record, he's only fought like once a year for the past, I don't even know how many years, but it's always against good competition. You know what I mean? He fought Nasrat, Trinaldo, Bahamondes in his last 3 fights. Any of those fights stick out to you, like a particular opponent?
Yeah, well, I've watched the one with Nasrat, his last one, and man, he still looks just as good as he did when he was, 5 or 6 years ago. Which it's just a credit to him. Yeah, it's like you can see that he's like evolving as well with the sport. So yeah, just gonna have to be on.
Another thing that sticks out about Makdessi is that he has a lot of decision, wins, losses. He goes to the judges a lot. Do you ever go into a fight thinking that this fight coming up is going to go to the judges and you need to adjust accordingly?
I think I was even looking at that the other day, and I think like I thought to myself, he's just like it's just going to be trickier to catch him. Um, I want to finish him. That's the goal. It's a goal for every single fight. So it's just going to be like I said. Can't force it with this guy. It's gonna have to be patient, calculated, and like I said, the key words in my mind for this sort of fight is don't force. Just let it happen.
You and your career in the last couple of years, you've been dealing with a lot of opponent switches ahead of fights. Sometimes they'll happen on fight week, sometimes they'll happen 4 weeks ahead of the fight. How has it been dealing with all of that, man? Because it's at the highest level. You're facing the best of the best. You don't want stuff like that to happen.
Yeah, it's just annoying, man. But it's the fight game. It's just the way it is. Um, especially that last one when I was scheduled to fight Graham. We had a real good game plan coming into the fight, and even the body type was just completely different of my opponent change. But there's no excuses, man. It's just a fight game. It's just one of the things that you have to learn to just deal with, because at the end of the day, if I don't fight, I don't get paid. So I was just actually very grateful that they were able to get me another opponent on fight week when Graham pulled out. So yeah, just adjusting and learning to deal with that mentally. I guess I'm still learning that, and yeah, it's just something that you're gonna have to not let it phase you.
With your last fight, like I mentioned, there's been a lot of switch ups, and that was a switch up as well against Naimov. It seemed like you had a set plan for yourself against him, and you were working it really well. Talk about that fight and your impressions of it.
Yeah, well, we went in very prepared, and like it was all going well. The fight was going my way, and I think what happened was because I had the last minute opponent change, I had in my head, I got to finish him. I've got to make a statement. I've got to finish. Got to finish. And then coming into that second round, I just I got complacent and I got too eager to get that finish. So it was a big lesson, man, and that's what we do when we have these losses and these stumbles. You got to look at it and go, okay, like what did I do wrong, and how am I going to fix this? How am I gonna get better and improve myself from this loss? And that's what's happened, man. We're just going back to all the little things, like just back to basics, back to um, just all the defense, and making sure that doesn't happen again.
I've talked to other fighters about this, and you get a reputation, right, as a fighter, and you have the reputation of going in there and chasing finishes, and that's something that people, they see you and they want that out of you. Do you sometimes get caught up in it, and is that what happened, do you think, in the last fight? And now you mentioned patience earlier in the interview, heading into the next fight. Is there a correlation? Is there a connection there?
Yeah, I don't think I think I've passed that, because like you saw in my performance in Perth in February at the start of the year, that was against a young, dangerous debut guy as well. And I was very calculated, and I was happy with myself. And for some reason, that last fight, I think because the opponent change was on fight week, I was like, he's not going to have a gas tank. I'm just going to fucking put the pressure on him, and I'm going to finish him. And that, like, you can't afford to do that with these guys, because they're all dangerous. So I don't think I'm still caught up in it, like as my reputation, so to speak. I think just that last fight, it was the circumstances, because it was on fight week. I just had a guy coming in off, it was literally like 6 days notice for that guy. Hats off to him. He did a good job, but it was my mistake. Just like taking that into consideration, just thinking, yeah, I'll just put the pressure on, and I'll put him away. That was what let me down in that one.
From talking with people, around you that train with you, I heard that, you jumped into Volkanovski's camp and helped him out a little bit after the last fight. And then
Yeah.
you jumped into Kulabau's camp and helped him a little bit to get ready
Yeah.
for his fight. Did that help kind of put that loss in the rearview mirror, training, especially preparing guys for big fights?
Yeah, for sure. I think it did. I had a quick little break while I was away, and then went straight back into World Championship level camp, and then another little just back end of Josh Kulabau's camp, and it did for sure. It just kind of makes you go like, let's just get on with it, and kept the body ticking as well, and it kind of was like a pre-camp training for me, just before I start my next camp, just getting the body ticking, and it was good atmosphere to be around as well. and then seeing Volk go out and do what he did is just like more motivation, you know.
When you're in these like pre-camps, does it allow you to shorten like your training camp for your fight? Does it help do that?
Not really shorten it, but it's like I like that sort of getting into that sort of atmosphere, because even though you're not the guy in the middle, you're around that sort of energy. Like all the guys that were down, we were living in a house for Volkanovski's camp, and you've got other guys competing, and like we're still chomping at the bit to win every round. So it just gets you back into that mindset, sort of like preparing you for another big camp coming ahead. And I think it was good.
Your coach, Ross Pearson, he faced Makdessi in 2018. He has a very particular insight, right? Because he spent 15 minutes in there facing your opponent. What has he
Yeah,
said to you throughout camp about Makdessi?
yeah, man. It's a literally a big edge having Ross there with me every single day, because he knows him quite well. Like you said, spent 15 minutes in there with him, so. And Ross is actually a very similar body type to Makdessi as well. So we've been moving together constantly every day moving together and getting those looks off him. Yeah, it's been really good, man. Um, he's just telling me what I need to hear, pretty much. He's just telling me the things I need to hear and making sure that I stick to the game plan, like always.
Did you bring anybody in particular to kind of emulate Makdessi? He does have kind of a unique style, striking style.
Yeah, well, I haven't brought anyone in from like for the whole camp, but I've been getting some good sparring partners. I've got Ben Regan, who's a K1 amateur world champion. Um, he's a, man, I can't really get better rounds than him for the kickboxing side of things, because I know John's a very good kickboxer, very quick, very nippy. So I'm getting all those looks from Benny Regan, and I've got Edamar Tekshira has been one of my main sparring partners for the camp, and then all the guys from our gym. Some of the Lions Den boys from Sydney are coming up as well. So I've been getting a lot of good bodies in for this camp, so it's been good.
And what are your DMs look like, man? Are people are probably asking you for tickets? I don't know, man. Probably crazy, right? You probably have to turn
Yeah,
your phone off.
yeah, no, there's been a bit of that, but it's been good, man. It's good, just like all the day oneers who were watching me fight at local RSL clubs with a couple hundred people around. It's good that they get the chance to be there now, and it's going to be a fucking good feeling, man. Just fighting at home again. I've said to a couple of my close mates that are coming. It's like back in the old days where I was doing these shows, but now it's the big show. So they're all pumped up and amped up, and I'm like, man, I'm getting sort of goosebumps just thinking about it right now. It's just going to be a good night.
Yeah, without a doubt. And another thing that I was noticing, and I think somebody posted a picture. I think it was Martin that posted a picture of you and him facing off, and you guys actually fought a long
Yeah,
time ago, man. I think you're the only one like right now, like the major promotions that has fought like all the big major names
yeah,
before the US. It's a trip, right? Like you in the regional scene, you faced a lot of like heavy hitters.
yeah, man. No, that was another one. Like that's literally the kind of shows that that I'm talking about. That we were we were fighting in just local little leagues clubs, and yeah, that was a good night. That was a good fight, man. Martin had we had I think we actually got a fight of the year nomination for that fight, and yeah, it's just coming full circle. So yeah, and it's also good to see like all of us doing well at the highest level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's pretty special. Like now, like once we were fighting all each other, and now we go and help each other for our camps. Like I fought Alex, I fought Martin, and now we get together every now and then and spar and get ready for fights together. So it's pretty cool.
Definitely. And another name that sticks out is Isaac Hardman. You know, you fought him and beat him in an exhibition. Now he's doing this thing in boxing, man. Pretty
Yeah,
good. He's actually turned into a solid boxer.
yeah, man. Isaac was always a good opponent. I used to say like he was one of my best wins of my pro career, definitely on the Australian scene. Because I caught him early. Um, and like I said, like you said, it was an exhibition fight, so he wasn't a registered professional yet. But we were fighting under pro rules, and I like to claim that win. I like to say, hey, I still got him. But yeah, he's doing big things too, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if I see, if you see him get a world title one day as well.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. He's definitely a guy to look at in Australia for boxing. Man, Sydney, the Aussie crowd's gonna go crazy. You know, what are you expecting? You mentioned a patient performance, but I'm pretty sure you want violence as well.
Yeah, yeah. It's sort of like similar to the Perth card where I've just got to control my excitement and everything, but I'm ready to just go out there and have the best performance of my life, man. That's what I'm ultimately looking to do, and I'm confident. It's the best I've felt coming into a fight in a long time, physically, mentally, and yeah, I'm looking forward to going out there and just letting it all hang out with a veteran of the sport.
All right, one last thing before I let you go. What do you say to the people that are not even the people, the fighters that are complaining about the high taxes in Australia, where they go over there and compete?
About the what, sir?
The high taxes. They're always complaining about the high taxes in
Oh yeah.
Australia.
Uh, yeah, the taxes. I hate the tax man more than anyone. These, yeah, like I'm pretty sure it's like on par with the US, but uh, there's loopholes. Try get a good accountant and try get those loopholes where you can get around that paying all that tax because man, it kills us as fighters. Everyone sees the purse payouts that we get, but we don't even see most of that. Most of it just gets taxed straight away. So yeah, that's something that you gotta get onto.
There you go. Financial advice from
Yeah,
Jamie Mullarkey. Well, August 9th, man, UFC 293 Sydney. Jamie, thank you always, man, for taking the time and all the best in this matchup. It's a spectacular matchup, man. You always get spectacular matchups, you know, when
yeah,
they stay together. The matchup, I say, so
yeah.
to say.
Yeah. And looking forward to it, man. Appreciate you having me on here.